What's up, Tommy? What's up, Lugnika? Um, what's up, bro? Alright. What's up, Shua? What's up, Death? Good evening from the Philippines. Good evening, good evening. Oh, yeah, who messaged me bad. One cookie. We're gonna have we're about to have an interview with the best sniper in the world. He only goes by the alias of the sniper. Hmm. One sec. I'm just preparing him. I'm just trying to see Paladin. You're playing Tony's character? Yeah, I am. Making my heart. Paladin soon. Can I see your LD player settings? I want to play a name, but mine keeps lagging. Maybe something's wrong with my settings. It's just it's gonna lag. As soon as I start moving, look at this. As soon as I start moving, it's like FPS just drops. You can see, I can feel my character like stutter. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind.
Hey.
All right. Hold on. Let me just do the intro. All right, guys. We'll continue the AMA and the questions after this one. We are actually going to be interviewing the best sniper in the world. So, all right. Welcome everybody to the sniper episode. It's going to be the same concept as the previous one with the Synex, but this time around, instead of the best Synex in the world, we have a guest who is considered as the best sniper in the world, and he will be the best sniper unless contested. That might never be contested because you'll find out soon towards the end of this video why that is. And we're about to bring him on here. He is Dollar of the Panda Guild. All right, Dollar. You want to share? Do you want to share your screen and kind of give like an overview? It's probably going to be more towards like the late game because of I think a lot of people are just wanting to go Trapper in the beginning.
Oliver Monteroso just gifted 5 memberships.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yo. Thanks for the subs,
Give me a
Marsh.
second. Let me send you a message. Okay, I'm ready. So, what's up? What are we gonna talk about?
All right. So, if you want to share your screen, I guess. Well, okay. Well, just wanted to give like a quick overview of Sniper. I think for global, because unless it's considered a bug, which some say it is, and it's going to be fixed. Um, yeah, I think most people are going to be rolling. Was it like Trapper? Trapper?
Yeah. Um, Especially early on, right? When the server first launches. What was the initial server level? Isn't it like 30
30? Yeah.
at once? And then a few
Yeah.
days later it goes up to 35 and then 40.
Yeah. So yeah.
So,
Next day 35, and I think 1 or 2 days after that 40.
so what's some of the questions that people are talking about? Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of your viewers are asking a lot about Trapper
Yeah. Yeah.
and like how long it's gonna be around for. I saw it in the official Discord also. Everybody's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is the discussion mostly around how viable it is
Um.
uh after level 70, or kind
Yeah.
of how I started to play Sniper and
So we can start off with
how I
how you started to play Sniper and your play style towards it, but then we can move on to I mean, the fact is, like, a lot of people already are probably going to be like, yeah, I'm going to be a trapper until like level 70, and either they're going to continue as a sniper, or they're probably going to reroll to like something like wizard or something like that. Is a lot of people's plan. But there are a lot of people who want to play sniper. There are a lot of people who want to see if sniper is viable, and I've reiterated there was the pros and cons of sniper for later into the game. But I think hearing it from somebody who has kind of min maxed sniper to the maximum as much as he could, will probably be better received as well. So wanted to get your insight on. I guess we could probably skip the 1 to 70 part, because it's mostly just going to be trappers. But like for 70 and above, what are your thoughts on like the meta when it comes to 70 above, especially for global and the upcoming OBT?
Yeah, so if you're looking to min max early on, just like a quick overview of 1 to 70, if you're trying to min max leveling or clearing instances from 1 to 70, you want to try to kill as many things as possible quickly, especially when it comes to leveling. Then definitely Trapper is something that you want to do, especially because it's a lot more FTP friendly than going ADL.
Mm-hmm.
But also because early on you don't actually have the stats to build ADL. Later on, after level 70, when you get things like Ixion Bow, it's a lot easier for you to hit max attack speed, because Ixion gives you 30%, but also you unlock enchanting, so you can roll for agility sublines and get a lot of agility there and get a lot of attack speed there as well. But early on, people, initially from 0 to 30, 40, they go double strafe because that's pretty much your highest form of DPS. And
Yeah.
then you transition to Trapper. But even in the tail end of closed beta, a lot of the sniper hunter whales that were already level 70,
Mm-hmm.
they were already switching out of Trapper. So I think people understand that, yeah, it looks good, it's high DPS, but for things that are important, to them, which is 3v3, 5 versus 5, or 40 versus 40,
Yeah.
Trapper is very hard. If you could stand in a capture point and spam traps with a whole group protecting you, yeah, I mean that sounds great, but
Mhm.
it's not necessarily realistic all the time, and you could pretty much do that with any other class like wizard or
Yeah.
ME priest as well. So the difference, of course, is that snipers die a lot faster because they don't wear a shield, and their cast range is significantly shorter than something like a wizard or an ME priest.
Exactly.
So yeah, so if you want to talk about what happens after level 70,
Yeah.
usually people grab Ixion bow to achieve a lot quicker
Attack
of max
speed
attack
boost.
speed, because
Yeah.
that's the cheapest way to achieve ADL.
Mhm.
But some of the whales that I know, or the ones that are very very try hard in terms of um maxing out DPS for ADL, they actually try to not rely on Ixion procs or momentum core to be able to hit max attack speed, uh because snipers are such a glass cannon early on.
Yeah.
um the the first 3 seconds of engaging another character is the most important, because it's not realistic that you're going to be able to stand there and hit somebody for like 10 seconds,
Yeah.
right? Because
Wait
someone's
for a
going to aim
proc.
for you, you're going to die.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, for MVPs, for PvE, that's fine.
Yeah.
But for PvP and for 40 versus 40, the moment you appear in somebody's screen, later on when champs come out, they'll just body relocate to you and then you get punched.
Yeah.
So the thing about Ixion bow and momentum core is that it relies on you. It relies too heavily on you being able to stand there for at least 3 seconds, 5 seconds to build up
Attack speed.
the attack speed, and
Yeah.
then the DPS fully scales up and you're at its peak. But um, but when you're max attack speed already, you're basically at max DPS the moment that you engage an enemy,
Engage.
so you can
Yeah.
actually kill 2 to 3 times more people.
Yeah.
So that's what I've noticed. People who are not so free to play, they actually go Malong, and then they just max out attack speed and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But you actually don't need deck for ADL. That's what that's how I kind of built my character in private server, and then I went to NA and did the same thing.
Mhm.
Your majority of your DPS comes from your your
Attack speed.
gotchas,
Yeah.
your damage, your refines, things like that. That's where a majority of your damage actually comes from.
Mhm.
You don't need dex because crit doesn't miss. So dex improves your hit and improves your damage,
Mhm.
but you're basically feeding into the same stat. You'd rather go max attack speed and pretty high luck, and then go into bit or something like that.
And rely more
That
on
way
like
I mean you
Yeah.
crit all the time anyways.
Yeah.
And if you have high depots, then you're gonna have high damage,
Yeah.
and you can just save all this because stats are extremely important early on. You don't have that much of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you rely more on like the damage that you get from refines and costumes and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's MR, it's your refines, it's your gotcha deposits, it's your headgears.
Mhm.
That's where a lot of your damage comes from. Not from dex. Like you could like stress test and compare 99 dex and 0 dex, and the damage is negligible.
Like 100 something, I think difference worth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that much.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on just the like directly right after level 70. Level 70, 80, everybody's using Ixion.
Yeah.
Your ADL. Um, I used to start off with Ixion because I didn't have that much stats, and then in especially in 3v3 and 5 versus 5 for the guild versus guild stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just don't have time. I mean, and then it's like you gotta hit the pets. And when they're maxed your pets, you gotta focus on the pets, but
Yeah.
and then you gotta focus on the class, on the characters. It's a lot going on, and
Yeah.
um,
So
so my advice is for people who actually spend and want to go agility, dex, luck, is to try to get 500 max attack speed without cores and without the bow.
Yeah. So do you think like ADL is people switching over to ADL? Do you think it's more like of a? 'Cause I know a lot of people say that in Taiwan, Trapper is still meta. So do you think that like people switching to ADL is a symptom of the inherent weakness that Trapper Sniper has, and people are starting to realize that, and then now they're actually going to a different build with ADL?
So I watch a lot of the Taiwan gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's very turtley, but also not as coordinated as I thought it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you can protect a trapper and basically have them stand in a shell, it's effective. But when things are messy, or when other guilds are coordinated with their pushing also, it's not. I don't think it's that great. Um, People go ADL because in a one-on-one situation, Trapper versus ADL, the range is double, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you go status. The
Yeah.
reason that it's so effective in Taiwan is because they negate crit. They all go curse. I know, they wear cards, or some people do. Some people wear cards where if you hit them, you turn cursed, and then curse basically reduces your luck to 0.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a crit counter, but there's ways around that too. People are going Falcon around 80 to 90, like in Falcon. So, and the range is still the same as ADL,
Mm-hmm.
but as the server level goes up 70, 80, and you get things like R cores, um, relying on people to step on your traps, or having to walk to like a 4 or 5 cell range to be able to cast trap is not reliable, especially when you die really easily.
Yeah.
Because then
This
the
squishiest
trade-off
class in the
is like,
game.
right, the trade-off is, okay, well, I could be a Sen X where I don't have a shield also, but I have mobility. Or I could be a wizard and a priest where I could be DPS, but I have survivability because I have a shield.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I did watch Taiwan. I don't think it's going to be the same here as it is going to be in Taiwan. I don't think people spend as much either, as like, from what I've seen in closed beta. A lot
Mhm.
more people are spending here,
Yeah.
and traps don't necessarily scale against high refine defense and high
Yeah.
defense overall.
Yeah. Even in NA, even people who tried to build like pure trapper, it would even with against the tankiest class as the later the game went on, they would be able to chunk them, but they would never be able to finish them off. So it's you get a step on one trap just to be able to hit them, and then you take like maybe 10%, 20% of your health off, and then you just end up finishing them off.
Yeah, because if you think about what's useful class wise and why it's useful, the reason that ME Priest does so well, and the reason that wizards do so well, and the reasons that snipers do so well, is
Mm.
because ME and Gravity Field both ignore magic defense.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent, it's an anti-whale skill. And later on, when snipers get sharpshoot, Malongbow gives you 30% ignore defense when it's plus 15. So that's like another anti-whale measure, because
Mechanic, yeah.
whales have a lot of defense, like a lot of defense.
Yeah, like
And like that's
percent.
usually what separates people early on. So those skills just fully ignore those things from 80 to 100.
Yeah.
So that's why they're really, really useful regardless. Like, no matter if you're super strong or if you're semi-casual,
Mhm.
like it's a little bit more effective than other skills.
Yeah, and that's where Trapper falls, kind of like falls
Yeah,
behind.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. So the only the other thing that I wanted to talk about too is that the inherent weakness that snipers have in general is because like we both know that they have the lowest HP scaling in the game. Plus they don't have a shield. That means they're like squishy to like the second degree almost. And what happens then? Like I feel like when the meta starts to become a ranged burst meta. Even with the red cores out, even with red cores making cast time for sharpshoot fast, it's still a skill they have to aim. So there's some counterplay to it for people with fast hands or people who know how to kite as well. What happens then when sniper gets to the range of like the level 110 to higher? Because as far as we know, the build that gets buffed technically that gets called like buffed at 110 and 115 because of weapons plus accessories is ADL and not sharpshoot, which is supposed to be what's meta for sniper.
So at around level 90 to 100 is when we get arc cores, and snipers actually get one of the biggest buffs from arc cores.
Yeah.
Because they have one of the strong they end up having one of the strongest range bursts in the whole game, alongside the Sin X's.
Yeah.
Prior to that, the only range bursts that exist in the game are all mostly that are AoE somewhat, are mostly magic.
Yeah.
So it changes how people and guilds build reduction, because if you're woeing and majority of the kills are wizards and ME priests because they're the ones that are AoE in range, everybody's gonna build anti-magic. Everybody's gonna go benediction. But then at level 90 to 100, now you kind of have to go a little bit more stone skin, which is physical reduction.
Yeah.
Because now you have physical range AoE burst as well.
Yeah.
So at around that point, snipers are actually pretty strong, I would say. You reduce the fixed cast time by half, so it's only 0.5, and you could reduce it further if you want. Most of the time, if you're a whale, you already one-shot everybody.
Yeah.
Generally from the sharpshoot buff, especially if you have decent cores.
Yeah.
So what I did was I didn't go crit enchants. I went fixed cast time reduction enchants, so that I could get like a 0.2 second cast time, because at that point in WoW and in 40 versus 40, you just want to be able to shoot as many arrows as you possibly can in a short period of time without getting interrupted.
Yeah.
So snipers actually become really strong at that point. If your guild doesn't have any AoE magic, other guilds can just spam Numa though. And then everybody's just Numaing everywhere, and then you're basically countered. You do 0 DPS.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that I've seen happen, but I think most guilds are balanced where you have AoE magic, so you basically can just pair a wizard party with a sniper party, and if they just spam Numas everywhere, you just drop a grab field, and then everybody sitting in Numa just dies.
Yeah.
So that's around 90 to 100. Building a sharpshoot sniper, I think, is still worthwhile, especially because hopefully that's around the time that WoW comes out, and sharpshoot snipers are also very good for WoW, because they complement Divine Spike, which is an arc core for ME.
Yeah.
They complement Divine Spike really well because they both root.
Yeah.
Sharpshoot and ME both root, so you basically can just hold a huge stack in place.
Yeah. Red core.
So it's
Yeah.
So I do think it's good. I do think that snipers are good. The issue is that it requires a whole party dedicated around it, right? And so exactly, you need like a Devo, you need a priest, you need basically people to protect it. So at that point, you just kind of have to ask yourself, okay, what's more useful at this point? Is it a Grimtooth whale, Sin X, who pretty much does the same thing? It's like an AoE 500 attack speed, spam cast, physical damage, or is a sniper who's in the front line with, I would say, about 1.5x their range. Which one's better? Which one does your guild need? And so, if your guild needs more of a 3v3, 5v5er that is also useful in 40 versus 40, I would definitely say Synex probably has the upper hand in that.
Mm-hmm.
But for WoW, I think frontlining, being able to kind of stay in your stack and rotate left and right, and you don't need to clear one or two people on the sides all the time. You rather just clear a whole stack, and snipers still better at 100.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's probably the biggest difference is probably the safety of being in stealth way, being able to do Grimtooth with red cores out, right? It's like you don't have a shield either, but at the same time, at least you have that, like, because a lot of people, this is one thing I've noticed, and I notice a lot of people do in 4v40 or WoW sometimes. Not everybody casts Sight, not everybody casts Ruach, not everybody has a Horon card to cast Sight. So it becomes a huge problem if there's a wailed out Synex out there, kind of like flanking your group, flanking your stack, and nobody has, the skills out like Ruach or Sight to reveal them. So then they kind of just like go to town on your whole guild until somebody like does it or somebody casts Numa.
Yeah, exactly. Because dollar for dollar, if a Synex and a sniper spends the same amount of money, over time, the Synex wins out, because the sniper is going to be able to one shot everybody, and the Synex is going to get close to it, but the spam rate of the Synex is 3 to 4 times the spam rate of the sniper.
Yeah.
And there's no point in scaling your DPS if you're a sniper and you're already killing everybody in one hit. You just want to be able to attack faster.
Yeah.
You want to survive, you want to attack faster. But the problem is there's a cooldown, there's a fixed cast, there's an animation delay, so you just end up always casting slower.
Yeah.
So, over time, I would say like 100, 110, you get to a point where all the whales can one shot each other, or for the most part, 2 to 3 shot each other if you're DPS, especially with feathers and emblems.
Yeah.
And it's just who can survive longer, because the longer you survive, the more people you kill. It's just everybody's trying to get theirs. Everybody's going around, with their parties, and if they see somebody and they get the jump, they get the kill. But it's like, okay, well, if you're a sniper, you don't have invis, you don't have mobility, so people see you walking around with your party, you're just gonna get jumped.
Yeah.
And even if you do a lot, like, it's a lot easier to focus you, as opposed to like a wizard, right? Even if you're a wizard and you're walking around and somebody's about to jump you, you could basically just cast Graph Field on yourself, and nobody can really jump you. They're just gonna die in there.
Yeah.
Same with ME, or ME. ME priest can just put a Numa down or a safety wall down, and they're fine.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, wizard also has the option, like, not only do they have shield, but they can also safety wall. And if it's a magic caster going after them, they could easily just like quick cast what is it called again? Like the magic shield that they have. Yeah. But and I guess the only thing that you have as a sniper is, yes, you do have Windwalk, but that's also on a very high cooldown, and Windwalk doesn't help you when you're stuck in an animation when you're doing Sharpshoot either. So yeah, it's just a lot of cons that sniper has versus like the other classes that could possibly carry with the same amount of investment.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that the game progresses, around 80 to 90, or 80 to 100, I would say, it's not really a burst meta yet, so it's more like sustained damage. Supports that are a whale become really, really strong. I mean, it's kind of like, you kind of imagine it to be something like first season of DSV, where all the priests are just super tanky and they heal a lot. There's no burst, so you can't really kill anybody, and everybody has strong sustain. And then after you hit over 100 and you get the arc cores, then it becomes bursty.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing a lot of damage. And then after that, it starts to tail off around 120, because 120 is when you get elemental reduction armors. So things like
Mhm.
Sage gets a massive reduction in damage.
Yeah.
Everybody's healing and surviving a lot longer.
Yeah.
So the burst stuff just, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to change your play style. And uh, for snipers, it's the difference between them and Synexes is that regardless of what the meta is, their mobility doesn't change. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you can still kill a sniper even if it's not a burst meta. But it's very hard to kill. Imagine if it's not burst meta and
Yeah.
you're trying to kill a Synex. Like, it's very difficult with how fast and how quickly they move and how much damage they do,
Yeah.
either through like a sustained period of time, or if there's something like double daggers. So that's
Mhm.
and it's a one-on-one situation, it's even harder. So
Yeah.
uh that's I don't know if that helps at all in terms of my perspective on sniper. But
Yeah.
for everything else, if you like PvE, you like content stuff, I mean, sniper is a great class. It's very easy to use. It's great for MR and all those things. It's great for hunting.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody from playing it. You kind of just have to ask yourself what your goals are, realistically.
Mhm.
If you're trying to build the best 5v5 team, um, the sniper's probably not it. But if you want to kill MVPs, and you want to be strong, you want to help your guild win WoW and stuff, and you're anticipating our course, then sniper's not bad. It's a really useful class
Yeah.
for what it gives you.
Yeah. Also, good thing to note is that Sharpshoot doesn't care about LP, even if it counters ME and
Yeah.
grab field. So that's another thing to consider when you're playing sniper. You won't be the best at everything, but there are certain things that you can do well. You just have to identify your weaknesses and kind of adapt to that, and kind of push through the meta, even if it's not in your favor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, Brimtooth also goes through LP.
Yeah. At the same time, so
Yeah,
it's rough for snipers for a little while there, but
like,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the talks of like fourth jobs coming out, and maybe there's some redemption there. I know I saw some skills that would give rangers more tankiness, like more HP, more defense. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to make up for how inherently squishy snipers are, but there's some approach there towards its weakness, and it's gonna be hard to balance, because if they make them too tanky, they'll be too dominant. If they make it like not matter too much, then it's just the same situation all over again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, the weapon 3 slot buff helps a little bit.
Mhm.
Because Katars and bows, all the two-handed weapon stuff,
Yeah.
they get an extra card slot, so that helps. But like I said, it just really depends on your preference of play and what you're looking to do and to achieve in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yep. So that pretty much, like, I think that hopefully that explains a lot to the people who have been thinking about playing sniper. So we made it clear it's 1 to 70, really good early game for grinding. A bit expensive having to
It's really
expend
good.
straps. Yeah. So even for free to play. But then as you get to level 70 and you get higher, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, that's when the meta begins to shift, where the inherent weakness that trappers have starts to get displayed, and you don't really function anywhere out of either like turtling or placing traps in your backline to protect them during WoW. And yeah, in small instances like 5v5s and 3v3s, and even some at times like maybe in 40v40s, you'll find a better use as for yourself, especially if you're wailing out for ADL, because your job as a trapper is better performed by classes like Grab Field Wizard at level 70, for example, who just completely ignore magic defense because of Grab Field. But yeah, Della, you want to add any more insights before we close off?
No, I think you pretty much touched on everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna have its uses. Of course, Trapper, and people are gonna be stubborn, and they're gonna say that it's still gonna be meta, it's still gonna be a thing. But um, I do think that from what I've seen, and from some of the, because I was talking to some of the whale snipers across both of the closed beta
Mhm.
servers,
Yeah.
and uh, just kind of getting a feel for how they feel about trapping, because I know, like for example, all F4, like their top killers in 14 versus 40 were all
Trappers.
um yeah, we're all trappers.
Yeah.
But then like then it's like, okay, then like, watching the video, like is there any like coordinated attempt to push, or is everybody just kind of like mindlessly running into the circle into traps and dying? And it's like it's the latter.
Yeah.
There's no coordination. Everybody's
Yeah.
just running into traps and dying.
Yeah.
you know but it's like, but I haven't seen a situation where, okay, can you take back a, a point if your leading DPS is a trapper against like a wizard?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be possible,
Yeah.
because the range is so small.
Yeah. And
So
yeah, faster cast time the wizards get too, but then that weakness becomes more pronounced, especially if they can just
yeah,
drop a grab field in like point something seconds on top of you when you're trying to approach them to drop a trap.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like think about it this way, because everything is value for value, one for one.
Mhm.
If you're free to play sniper, right, and you have an Ixion bow, and you don't do any damage, but you put a Magnolia card on, and like
Like a
yeah, I
requiem.
don't know, yeah, like a Requiem card, and you get a Silence card as well,
Yeah.
and you're basically protecting a point with your wizard, and your only job literally is to find their top DPS, which is a trapper sniper, and just hit him so that he can't do anything.
Yeah.
And like even if you don't do any damage, he also doesn't do anything because he's permanently silenced
CC.
and feared.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cast range for trap is 4 or 5, and the attack range for snipers are like 9,
Yeah.
or no, it's like 10 or 11. And
Yeah.
so it's the you basically one for one, a free to play ADL sniper just shut down a fully whaled out trapper sniper,
Yeah.
you know? And so like that's not worth it.
Yeah.
If that's where all your value in 40 versus 40 is going to, like that's definitely not worth
Yeah. Because I think even in the a lot of people are arguing like, well, it's the early game, that's why like trapper snipers are still really good. They do a lot of damage. But after watching those videos as well, if the composition of the opposing guild at the time was composed mostly of like wizards with priests and other classes to protect them, and they were AUing around the point, like what window does a trapper sniper have to jump in there and drop a trap without dying as
it.
soon
Yeah,
as they get into the AOE? So
yeah,
it was a
exactly.
composition.
And Taiwan, they nerfed Smoky cooldown, Smoky card cooldown. So even if a
Mm,
sniper wants to be like, I don't know if Global's gonna get that patch,
yeah,
but if a sniper wants to be sneaky, like it's even harder because the cooldown for that Smoky hide is even longer.
yeah,
So yeah, it just made it really hard overall for any class with no mobility.
yeah. Yeah, and I know like Smoky card. I mean, the hide from Smoky doesn't last long to begin with. So with the longer
Mhm.
cooldown time, if you try to position yourself to be able to flank, and then your Smoky card runs out, you're kind of screwed because you're mispositioned, and you don't have another hide for like what, another like 15 seconds or 10 seconds.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's also a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of counters for sharpshoot in general. You could build crit death. Of course, like that's not really applicable early on for DPS characters
hmm,
because you can't just go goibs. But you can build crit death because uh snipers are naturally lower crit characters than Synexes.
yeah,
Uh, you know, Mainly because Qatar doubles the crit that you earn
yeah,
and bows don't.
yeah,
So, you could just be seeing white numbers the entire time. when you're sharpshooting. You could be like this big whale, right?
Mhm.
And you get 160 crit early on, when you're on 190, and that's really good already. But you're gonna go up against like another DPS character who is gonna build maybe 120 crit dev, maybe 100, 130. So then your final crit number is gonna be 30.
Mhm.
So you're only critting 1/3 of the time,
Yeah.
and you're already having a hard time casting sharpshoot
Yeah.
because the cast time early on is still significant. So you might be shooting sharpshoot 3 times in 3 seconds, or maybe 4 times in 3 seconds at
Mhm.
most. But you're not gonna be critting at all.
Yeah.
You're gonna be just seeing white numbers. So then your damage then it's like half of what it is, or like maybe a third of what it is, and like that's another counter for people that don't Numa, and and just get protected by a priest.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So that's about it. I think we've pretty much covered everything regarding that one, right? I think that hopefully that gives people a better insight when it comes to playing sniper, how it scales, its weaknesses, and if it fits your playstyle. And it does have its own place, especially in War of Imperium, obviously. But they do tend to give up a lot of advantages that other classes have. So just keep that in mind, especially if you are wanting to invest a lot into it. But yeah, if you're free to play going into it, then you know what your job is. It's as an ADL sniper is to pinpoint, as long as your targeting game is good and you know how to target whales, you know how to shut them down. All of a sudden, even if you're not the meta class, your value all of a sudden goes up by like to the 10th power or something, just by like being a free to play and shutting down a whale completely. So it's all of the play style. You could be as effective as you can be, but at the end of the day, it's up to the player. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely up to the player. Snipers are a great free to play class.
Yeah.
Especially if you're smart. If you're a smart and good player, and you want to be useful in like especially 40 versus 40,
Hmm.
like all you got to do is hug a whale and just, find their top DPS and just lock onto them and permanently disable them
Yeah.
around so that your whales can't get killed. And that doesn't require you to be a big spender to be able to achieve something like that.
Hmm.
So definitely a lot more of a free to play class that could be useful, other than something like a priest.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So I think that's since we've covered everything, we can probably conclude it here. If people have any questions, just go ahead and ask that in the comments down below when we upload this video, and we'll try to answer those as much as we can. I think so far we've been doing a good job of answering all the questions that people might have in the comments. We haven't missed anything yet, so don't hesitate to do that. And again, Dollar, thank you for coming through and sharing some insight on here, because having somebody who has played the class for a very long time and has min-maxed the class as much as you have, and somebody who has invested into the class as much as you have, it probably holds a lot more weight to the people who are still thinking about going into the class, or thinking of going to another class after hearing its inherent weaknesses. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, so let me just write down the timestamp for that one. That is 44 minutes. All right, guys. So let me just enable all the alerts again. I had to shut it off because like it was getting too loud. But 1 second here. And but yeah, let me just grab that there. Yeah, Ruffles, Fan, Wells, thank you for the follow on Twitch here, and then for YouTube, XCSIS squad, thank you for the subscription, for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Prinny and Asauri, thank you for renewing your membership. Thank you guys, that does mean a lot. And also, you know, thank you to Marsh, who gifted those two supporter memberships for 1 month. And yeah, again, for Marsh 2 for doing it a second time by giving it to Tenaria Smith, Lugnica, and Wells. So appreciate that, guys, and appreciate everybody who subbed as well. Like Ryan, thank you for the sub. And yeah, we can continue the stream going forward from here. And well, I'm probably going to edit the feathers video. I know a lot of people have been anticipating the feathers video. We're going to be editing that today in stream. So you're going to be hearing double my voice, but that's okay, because it's going to be, I promise you, it's going to be a high value video. Yeah. Looking for more than a few clicks. Does he have YouTube or videos? He doesn't have a video. He's actually pretty busy. IRL. But yeah, Rayo, that was wasn't just the top sniper, it was the #1 sniper. I have yet to see somebody play sniper as good as him. I have yet to see somebody min-max a sniper the way that he has, and that's why I invited him over to here. That is Dollar, by the way. Dollar, DOLLAR, from the guild Panda, PANDA. They are going to be playing global, so if you want to be, especially if you're an aspiring sniper and you want to get advice from the best of the best, you know, that would be a guild that I would recommend going into if you're looking for a competitive guild. I know that they do have a lot of applications, so the earlier you get your application in, the better, right? So yeah. Your character just ran 100 laps during that interview? Yeah, man. I was trying not to be static, so I was like running around. I was actually manually running around that whole time, by the way. Yeah, what is the best way to counter sharpshoot sniper? Nonium, I think, yeah, Dollar answered that, I think, with Numa. Numa is the hard counter to not just to sharpshoot, but like even Grimtooth as well. Yeah, KO and Joey, this conversation is gold. This guy deserves more likes. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. But definitely bigger thanks to Dollar for coming through. I know he's a busy man. You know, and he put out the time to come over to the stream and do the interview. So, yeah. If you have any questions that I missed, just feel free to ask them again, and I'll try my best to answer it this time, because now I have, you know, I just didn't want to interrupt the interview in the middle just because of, I wanted to spend as little of his valuable time as possible, just to be respectful, you know. So, okay. Is it better to say his first job if you're waiting for 2-2 jobs? No, you can change job later on. Just make sure that if you are planning on changing to 2-2 jobs when they come out, that you don't synthesize your course, because you can want to wait until you get to that 2-2 job and 70+, because if you do, that means when you synthesize your cores, it actually has a chance of making cores that are relevant to that 2-2 job that you're moving into. Hunter Wiz in general for low spender. Generally, I would like say Priest and Wiz are like your best bet, because they are the easiest to manage as free to play. They have inherent strengths that, you know, are built in, and doesn't matter if you're high spender or free to play, you will do a certain amount of damage. But as you heard in that interview, if you are an ADL hunter, you got hands, you got good micro, you got good macro play, and you're good at targeting especially, then you could turn yourself from a free-to-play ADL sniper to a whale hunter ADL sniper, which does increase your value by however much that whale spent money on his character when you just shut him down the whole time. How is Monk like on MVPs? It's nerfed now because of the maximum cap damage on MVPs. So it's like actually the more DPS oriented class, like damage per second class versus the burst classes. So, but he said my sniper is mostly for MVP though. Not really. He didn't say it might mostly for MVP. It's good for MVP for sure, but you know. I mean, you review the whole video once I upload it, but there's a lot of good points in there that he made that other people might miss. So when you listen, when you hear that when that interview comes up, which will most likely be tomorrow, you know, try to glean off of as much info as you can if you plan on playing sniper, because if you want to be a good sniper, that was it. That was the best. That was your best bet right there. Like no nonsense, no BS, just straight to the point. Maybe if he was #1 free-to-play priest, I'd be interested. He's a natural born carry. Hope you can interview #1 Sage and #1 Stalker. Ooh, #1 Sage, huh? Well, we could ask. I don't think, because Stalker has only been, here's the thing, because Stalker has only been out for a certain amount of time, even in Korea, I don't think anybody has truly min-maxed the class. And when I say min-max, I'm not saying like been doing all the cookie cutter builds. I mean like actual gameplay, actual reasoning behind each engage, actual reasoning behind each action, and justifying it. If we can get something like that, then I would 100% do the Stalker video. Does Sufra work even without party? I don't think so, unless you can manually click somebody in the Sufra. But as far as I know, I've tried it myself. I've never been able to Sufra anybody out of party. The inherent weakness of snipers can be solved by Devo, right? So a well-out sniper can still wipe out enemies. He can still wipe out enemies, yes, but think of it this way: if you were to take a sniper, right? And yes, they do have really good burst, by the way. So if you were to take a sniper versus like a whaled out Synex as well, like yes, even the sniper, the Synex also doesn't have a shield. He has a bit higher HP scaling than a sniper, but the most important part is that he's actually in stealth, even if he's devoed. So yes, they might know where he is, but if they don't put any type of detection close to him, they won't even see him. So before they can even do damage to him with his devo from his paladin plus his devo from Son of Earth, for example, they're gonna have a rough time. And if they don't kill him fast enough, and if he's wailed out, he's gonna wipe out your whole sack before you can even do anything. So it does take an organized guild to be able to counter Synex every time they try to engage. So I wonder who the next special guest will be. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Is there a counter for Gravity Field Wiz? LP. That's it. LP is the only thing that you can do to counter Gravity Field. It's, you know, you could Ganban if you want, but just inherently, it's very hard to counter Gravity Field. There's no way that you can counter the magic, the negate magic defense that it has. Because like, it doesn't even matter if you just like put in a lot of MDef. Like, it's just gonna ignore it, right? Like, your best bet is probably be like more like PvP mitigation, but they could just like, you know, they could just ignore that too. Yeah. Skipper, thanks for your videos and live streaming, helping a lot. Appreciate that, man. I'm trying to see if I can live stream every day, because I know that there's this lull in the middle with OBT being like so far away. So I'm trying to see if I can stream every day, keep the hype up, and answer any questions that people might have going into OBT. But how about are your equips? Wouldn't it be harder to make a new set? No. Because you're gonna make a new set every 70, when you get to 70, when you get to 80, when you get to 90, you're gonna be crafting new equipment anyway. So all you really are gonna have to do is just that you're just gonna have to transfer your refines. And if you're switching like to a one-hand to two-hand weapon, for example, then yeah, you'll have to renew your enchant. But you're gonna have to do that anyway. You know what I mean? Which one better, Fire Sage or Wind Sage? None of them are better. You have to be, there's no like surefire one size fits all answer to that, because you never know if somebody's gonna put up a Sonic card on if you're fire, right? So you have Fire Protocol, Fire is your strongest element, but if somebody puts up a Sonic card on and your Fire Protocol gets negated to some degree, like a Sonic card plus Jack card, for example, you know, then it might be worth considering. Even if, let's say, even if you have like the protocol for lightning and fire, you might want to consider casting Cold Bolt instead, because if you spam them with Cold Bolt with a plus 75 increase in damage because they have fire on, then, you know, those are like the min-max things that you have to do as a player. And that's why I say, like, skill level wise, it, you know, a lot of that is on the player himself. So a bad one will keep casting Firebolt because that's all they know. They just know how to put auto on and then spam Firebolt. But a good one will see the difference and adapt accordingly. How for Battle Priest can contribute for WoW or PvP content? Oof, that's rough, Nathaniel. Early game Bonk Priests are pretty strong. They can run people down. The problem with Bonk Priests later on is that, like, you know how like Knights feel useless? You're gonna feel the same way as a Bonk Priest. The only difference is you're gonna feel a little bit more useful because you have Resurrection. Only other thing is, you probably don't have enough cast time to resurrect fast anyway, so you're not gonna feel as useful as a priest that can. But at least you're not gonna be a knight just sitting there not doing anything. You can actually be somewhat useful, and you're gonna have to build movement speed as well, because you're gonna have to be able to chase people down. Because if you try to run at them and they just run away from you, then there's nothing you can do. You have no CC. You have no, you have no lock that you can, they can lock skill that you could perform on a player to stun them, to root them, or anything like that. What is the interview with the world best high whiz? We'll see. I might have to contact him. Me and him have not been on. Oh, well, actually, we weren't like in bad terms, but for a time there, we did have a lapse in huge lapse in communication. But we still played Dota from time to time, so it's not like the contact is not there. So we'll see. ADL snipe pure attack or ADL snipe with auto blitz? I don't think you have a choice, honestly. if you're ADL, you kind of don't have a choice. You have to. Like your bird will proc whether you like it or not. So either. Unless you built like really wrong and then your Falcon just refuses to proc, then you might have to look at that build and fix it for you. Do you advise players to have multiple accounts, like one main, 1 HP plus buffers? Honestly, I don't advise it because it accelerates the burnout that you feel with the game. Unless like you thoroughly like enjoy that. But for the most part, a lot of the people that I've seen who have like tried to do that usually burn out within a few months. So I don't advise it. But if you have to, then yeah, one main plus one high priest. The only thing is, like, when you're grinding, you can't bring that high priest with you, because if they're in a party with you, they're just sucking up EXP, right? The one class that I would actually not mind bringing with me as an alt though is probably Bard, because Bard can just have Braggy on top of you and they can just heal you. They have Braggy too, and they also have Eden's Apple that can heal you. And then if you macro like marionettes every time it goes down, and you use the Rich Man Mr. Kim skill along with that, you don't even need a dancer, then you could actually get pretty good EXP for your grind. So that's one thing to consider if you're thinking of making an alt. In RO Stalker is a monster for 1v1. One can can 1v1 them. Don't know in ROO though. There are a lot of classes that will counter Stalker, or that can kill Stalker in ROO. It's a skill matchup, I would say. But one thing I can say about Stalker is if people are not paying attention to it, a Stalker can shut down a whale, similar to how an ADL sniper would be able to, even if you're free to play, because you can just spam them with all this like CC that, you know, Stalkers will fill up your buff bar with debuffs. And like that's like the one thing that they have. That's why like in my tier list, I actually rank them like around the middle, because they might not be the best bet if you're like fully wailing out. They're not gonna carry you like a high wizard, an ME priest, a Synex would, for example, or a sage. But for the little investment that you do put into it as like a low mid spender or a free to play, they do tend to have that factor that ADL sniper has when it comes to like shutting down a whale, and all of a sudden your value just goes up because their biggest threat, and you just nullify them, right? Which is more important to buy, Growth Fund or Supreme VIP rebate card? Well, Growth Fund is just a one-time thing, right? It's the 6k plus diamonds, right? So I would buy that one first, for sure. Because rebate card, yes, you'll get nyans from it as well, and you'll get like the mystery shop tickets, but those mystery shop tickets don't actually come into play until later on, once red cores come out, for the most part. So you can hold off on those for a month or so, and just you know, take care of the immediate gains that the 6k plus diamonds would give you instead. Sad. I am waiting for him to demonstrate the damage of sniper in MVP or PvP. I think there's videos out there of him doing it. Here's to the next guest. Oh, that would be. I'm sorry. That would turn from an interview to a roast session real quick. Oh, would be fun. Would be fun. How much will it cost to like max out an assassin cross estimated? Max out? Like max out? Assuming you're buying like the discounted nyans. Oof. If you're not too unlucky to max it out, you probably. And I'm not gonna count pets here. Like max out, like when I'm talking about like max out equipment plus 20s, max out feathers, max out titles, emblems, guild skills, all that. I'd probably say like around 50k USD with discounted nyans. But a 10k plus is usually enough to be to do some damage with it, or be competitive enough with it that you're not getting shit on by everybody. You should just edit the feather read instead of manually running around the map. Yeah, I should. But it's hard to edit and answer questions at the same time, so. Question about auto skill. What's the difference from the main slot in the middle with all the broken line and the arrow compared to the other skill slots? What do you mean? Like in the settings? This broken line? Well, this is the main skill. Once you, let's say like you're using the PC client, right? So what would happen is you would use your number 1 key on your keyboard to cast this, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this arrow right here leads to this, basically, because if you press this, you get into the second part of your skills. So if you should have like a hotkey for this. So if you have like a lot of skills, like for example like Sage, right? Like you have your offensive skills, and you have your like utility skills that you use people to counter people with. So if you want to switch between those, that usually makes you a lot more effective as a player. What was the level you did get in day 1 of CPT? That's a good question. I don't even remember. It was like 30 something, I think. Yeah, main slot gets casted first, then followed by the next line in this era. How old am I? Oh god, I'm old. I'm like 32 now. I'm getting there. I'm just waiting for the gray hair to come out, man. And be like, well, that's it. It's over. Best class to be while waiting for biochemist? You can go wizard, SW. Knights are just getting wrecked. Yeah, alkays are just not good. Early game they're good, but they fall off a cliff so hard it's like hard to justify playing one. Easiest to play for lobbies? I would say full support, but a lot relies on your shoulders as full support. So you'll probably play wizard actually. Yeah, wizard. Is it ADL but not renting a Falcon? Well, yeah, I guess you can. Why would you not? Okay, it's like you want to be ADL sniper, but you work at PETA, so you can't fathom having a Falcon out and fight for you. I can see some guides on YouTube. What's the difference between AIL and ADL? Agility, int, luck. Intelligence increases the damage of your Falcon. ADL is agility, dex, luck. But if you noticed in that interview, if you want to maximize your stats, you're gonna have to go full agility, and then instead of putting stats into dex, you would instead invest that into luck. That way you have maximum attack speed, and you also have maximum crit as much as possible. And not only does that increase your critical hit chance, which makes you not miss, but it also increases the chance of your Falcon proccing. Will mercenary count on the party experience when grinding? There are no mercenaries in global. Chernalin. Should I go Qatar or dagger level 40 to 70 Synex? Which is better since Qatar does 75% damage to small, large, and 100% damage to medium instead of dagger huge damage. Well, the thing is, like, dagger is always going to have better DPS. Just because it's 2 weapons in one. And you can card both weapons, and you get 2 weapon effect bonuses as well. So that negates the advantage that Qatar might have. And especially Red Cut. Red Cut does a lot of damage as well. Like early game burst, if you want to level with Red Cut, you could go Red Cut. Actually does pretty good DPS. Yeah, BBC said it there too. Dual dags with incredible burst with Red Cut for leveling. But then again, if you have a Dunel, then, you know, I don't know, you could be a full intelligence, like, assassin, and you would still outgrind a lot of people. Him knows. Spending $70 a month is enough to survive endgame content. Yeah, if you're min-maxing a lot of your stuff, then honestly, yeah, $70 is more than enough. And you guys will see that in the yeah, I'm gonna stop slacking off here. I'm gonna let's pull up DaVinci Resolve so I can start editing the feathers video, and you guys can see like some insight into my editing as well, and how anal I am when it comes to like editing stuff. Next ROO guest star Terry Crews. It would be hilarious if Terry Crews actually plays ROO. I love Terry Crews, man. A lot of times I watch a movie just because Terry Crews is in it. Like the movie could have like the worst reviews, and I see Terry Crews, I'm like, all right, time to watch it. Total amount need to spend to make a good output Synex auto attack crit. Just require a good not whale OP level. It's hard to make a Synex like that, because minimum you would need to spend 10k. If you get unlucky, you might need to spend more. So it's a bit rough. Get max crit from luck stat or from others. Luck gives you a huge chunk of luck, and then eventually when enchants become a thing, you could go for sharp enchants, because sharp enchants will give you a lot of crit rate and crit damage, I believe. Yeah. Buying discount yans are allowed. Yeah, apparently in Southeast Asia, it's a normal thing. There's huge companies in Southeast Asia that also sponsor like a lot of streamers. Not me though. I don't know. If one of them sponsors me, then yeah, that would be nice. But right now, all I can do is partner with a reliable like agent. What should I prioritize buying to buy in the diamond shop? Oh, diamond shop? That's easy. Diamond shop. If you need your yellows in order to get your tier or your feathers, I'll explain that a little bit later. You can choose to buy guild tokens because these give you guild skills. You'll have an excess of them in the beginning, but later on they get pretty expensive, especially for the PvE and the PvP focused ones. Besides that, you're going to be spending it a lot on buying these weekly Iridicons. If you don't need Iridicons anymore, obviously old and rich Iridicons, and you can also buy the Blessed Weapon ores that it's going to be pretty expensive, but that's kind of what I have to do. Everybody has to go through it. You have to refine your gear. You can't just be like, well, I might get unlucky. Well, you're not going to get increased refines anyway if you don't try, so you might as well try. Bro, is 3k usually enough to plus 15 2 daggers and 2 rings? 2 daggers and 2 rings? Probably not.
Wonderful.
I'll be honest with you. Oh, actually, if you have like medium luck, you probably can. Yeah, you probably can. It's just expensive though. That's assuming you're buying like discounted yans. But yeah. If you guys are thinking about buying discounted yans, just DM me on Discord. I am currently partnered with an agent, and I can I can act as the middleman for you guys. At least you guys know I won't scam, rather than pressing a random person. Which shop is the most brain dead? This can just auto in most content. The most brain dead class? Huh. The most brain dead class. Auto in most content. Probably Knight, I'll be honest. You can probably just sit there and be useless. You don't even need to auto. You just sit. No, but auto in most situations. It can be more effective if you're manually playing it, but you can auto sage a lot. I know a lot of people do that even in PvP. So probably sage. Start bolting everybody. Just make sure that you put focus on players if you're PvPing. I'm playing ROO release when released on C. What job do I suggest I go for? How much are you thinking of spending, ABS? Because depending on your answer on that, I will suggest a class for you. What stat should I prioritize between int and dex if I'm going to level up as a whiz? I actually have a video for that one, Shuan. Hold on, let me grab it for you. Let me post it here for you. There you go. That video is how to attain perfect stat balance for caster classes. If you're a caster class, I highly suggest that you watch that. That way you don't spend your stats and be not as effective as you should be. You know, especially if you're free to play, definitely watch that. If you're a whale, well, even if you're a whale, it's definitely watch that still because, yeah, you don't want to mess up your stats and waste the reroll. Cool game doesn't notice it. Yeah, that is like the above average luck and not buying any discounted refined materials. Because I mean, it's like, let's see, right? So it's like I was doing calculations for somebody. So let's say like you buy, let's say 3K divided by, let's say like you buy at like $79 per pack, right? You get like what, 37? Let's round that up. Let's make that like 38. So 38 times 4,800. It's 182K nyans right there. Plus, obviously, if you're spending money, you'll be getting the growth back anyway. So you also have a lot of like, you'll also have a lot of diamonds to spend on Ordicon. So yeah, there's a good chance that you might. There's a good chance that you might. There's also a good chance that you might not. It just depends on your luck, but it's possible. It's possible for sure. I'd say like there's a 30% chance that you are able to do it with that amount. Or maybe like 25, which is pretty low. So in order to min-max damage for auto attack sniper, should we go int for or dex late game? If you're going Falcon, then you might want to consider int. If problem starts when you are like going for crit with like agility luck, is that when people start building crit defense, because not even to counter you, they're using it to counter like Synexes most likely, but they're gonna build it regardless, is that's when, you know, you're hard focused on luck, which you still need, you know, so you might need to put like dex instead. Oh god, it's saw Tanyara. Is it true that you can get a sure card drop when you kill, or your kill count gets higher? Yes, you can. Yeah, I do. There's a pity system for cards, up to purple cards. You cannot get it for minis and MVPs though. You cannot. Min-max auto things. Yeah, not only discounted neons, almost all mobile games have discounted rate. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, yeah, it's a very normal practice in Southeast Asia. They don't give us those sales in NA because like all that happens to us in North America is we just get scammed. Tanyara has a costume. What the? We unlock the feature to change to any job we want at base level 70, right? Yes, you do. You do. Do we get temporary gear after the process, or we need to have new jobs gear? You need to have your new jobs gear already. Just make sure that you have the blueprints needed to transfer over to the next job. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck with a bow as like a paladin or something. Best job recommendation is spending roughly 500 USD a month. Any tips on must-buy item when server opens? 500 a month? I'd say go wizard. 100% go wizard. When it comes to tips on to what to buy, I have like a rough guide here. Let me grab it for you. This is a neon spending guide that I made. Yeah. Callie, just watch your vids for Priest and Wiz. Are those the best free to play for newbie? Yes, they are. They are. Absolutely. Full support Priest though, not Emmy. And Wizard Gravity Field eventually when you get to High Wiz. Every VIP cards on that agent of yours is also discounted. I don't think so. No. I could ask, but I think for the most part she only sells discounted neons, like $100 packs. Because like usually like they're like $77 to $79 like fluctuation that price they have. Usually that's like the rate that they sell when you buy in bulk. But because I partnered with because I partnered with her, makes it so that the deal that I made was that like, hey, like not everybody from like Dynasty or from the stream might buy in bulk, but I can assure you that there's gonna be like a high volume, and it would end up being more money for you anyway. So the deal was that even if somebody's just like buying just like one $100 pack for like 77, 78, 79, depending on like what the currency is that day, conversion rate, that they would get the bulk price discount. So that was the deal that I made, and that's why the prices are that amount. If I got partnered with a big company that's in charge of those things, then maybe I could get it cheaper for you guys. But you know, I'm not known. I'm like a nobody in the YouTube community, so nobody really is going to my doorstep to, you know, offer a sponsorship. So maybe hopefully in the future we'll be able to do that, and if we do, that'll be really good. I would love to be able to do that for you guys, but in the meantime, this is all I got. Long term, will ROO depot system cost of startup be around, and will whales have 140% depot while low spin have 40%? That's around 100% damage. It is not that high. Let me show you real quick, Conan. So wardrobe has a maximum, which is like all the way to 40. So every few, like, let's say, like right now, where am I right now? 22. So I'm at 22 right now, right? I'm at 22, 23. I'll get another 1%. So right now, more than halfway, we have attack 4% more. So it's not that huge of a lead, and as long as you're doing monster research, even if you're free to play, all right, you're doing all your monster research, and then you get the materials as you're doing monster research to craft all these costumes right here, then you can actually get up there in fashion levels, because you're crafting. It's not just like blue equipment, you have your purple equipment here too. You know, stuff that you can craft, you can put in your fashion thing, level it up. There's a lot of things in here that will help you level that, by the way. So make sure that you don't slack off on your monster research, because monster research itself gives you stats already, and the costumes that you craft from that and you put in your fashion will also give you additional stats. Like, not just like some middling stats either. It's gonna be the same stats that the whales are getting. So make sure that you do that. Shamu's brain dead for me, just Asura. Yeah, that's good until you Asura a pet instead of a player. Here's one of the pain when asked us to ROO is a requirement. Just want to know how difficult is it to collect Elenium, Erdicon through grinding. You don't get a lot of Erdicon and Elenium through grinding. A lot of it is like in like certain events, like guild events and stuff. Like, let's see, for example, here you go to point system, right? I think eventually they'll put some here in the union shop, maybe? Probably not. But let's see what global does. But let's say like your guild vending machine, you have your weekly Iridicon, if you really need Iridicon at that time. What's the other one? Courage Shop, I believe, does it too, right? Actually, no, not Courage Shop. Your Guild HQ shop will give you options for that as well. MVPing will give you that. Doing the Easter eggs will give you some rough Elenium and Iridicon as well. Yeah, you know, it's not a lot, but if you do it every day, it adds up. Same thing with minis, same thing with MVPs. And here, obviously, you can just buy Iridicon, provided that you are participating in War of Imperium every single time. Because win or lose, you'll get that currency, right? Obviously, you'll get more if you win, but just by participating in it, and just by getting like certain achievements within the in that time when you're in War of Imperium, you'll get that currency. $0. Around $50 max per month. I'm playing with friends only, same like casual, not sure what job to go for. If you like supporting, go support, go FS Priest. But if you want to do damage, you want to do DPS and still do like a good amount, even as like a low spender or free to play, Gravity Field Wizard. You get activated so much sooner with no other requirements besides getting level 70 as a Gravity Field Wizard. So if you're free to play, low spender, that's your best bet right there. That's how you become relevant even in War of Imperium. For someone who hasn't reached plus 15 weapon yet, which class would be better in WoW? Sniper using Eelbow or Master Theft using Doppel Axe? Eelbow's not even the best bow for ADL, bro. Have you seen Midnight? Have you seen the Midnight bow? And there. Am I covering it? Hold on. Go to the side a little bit here. Bro. Physical attacks have 10% chance to silence enemy. Plus 6, your normal attacks have 30% chance to get unending, increase physical damage by 2% for 12 seconds, up to 12 times. At 12 stacks, this effect converts to Midnight, increasing the physical damage by 48% for 60 seconds. Now, say you don't. Let's say you don't have plus 15, you don't have the attack plus 30% still, which is huge. I mean, if you get to this point in the game, you still don't have a plus 15. You probably just had the worst luck in the world, even if you're free to play. But yeah, plus 10 crit damage plus 15%. So this is like really good for ADL because it makes what this bow does is just makes it really hard to counter you, because if you have Requiem cards on here, for example, right? It's like, oh, okay, in order to, the only way I can really hard counter Fear is what is it, like a Gaia Earth card. I was like, oh, but this guy's weapon also silences. It's like, so what do I do now? It's like, you can't do anything because you can't put a Marduk and you can't put a Marduk and a Gaia Earth card, right? It's like you just gear, because you're just like gearing up at that point to reach to a point where like to reach a point where like all you're doing at that point is just trying to counter this one ADL sniper, which is probably free to play or like low spender, because you don't want to get shut down completely, right? When you could have other options that you could put up there. So I'd go for sniper. Then again, Mastersmith, if you end up engaging on a sniper, you will kill the sniper. Only thing is, if you try to do that in like a 5v5, not even a 5v5, like more like a GVG setting, you will probably get exploded. Blacksmith able to play with my monthly budget. Blacksmith, Mastersmith does well even as free to play, especially like towards the mid game. You can kill welled out snipers even if you engage on them. When you get to level 100, you get a bit of a power spike, but as you heard earlier, that's around the time where the game transitions into like the range burst meta, so it gets rough for you for a little bit there. But you just have to hold out until you get better better mitigation options. Yeah. Which games is this? Can I download it, guys? Yeah, it's up, Vanessa. Thanks for the sub, man. You can download it in roglobal.com. It's currently OBT. The game itself doesn't start. This is the NA server, but the global one doesn't start until April 6th. So you want to get ready for that in advance. Should start editing? That should. What's up, Fran? Welcome to the stream again, man. You have a guide for macro? I mean, it's pretty easy to do macro. You just have to see this operation recorder here. I had a macro for another game there, but yeah, you just start recording, you record your actions, you stop recording, you change your settings to run until manually stop, and then that's it. It's that easy. You can get a Wendy's sponsorship? Right, I wish. Imagine if I could have Wendy's every day. I wouldn't even get tired of it. The stock of bacon in the US would like drop to an all-time low if I got a Wendy's sponsorship. The prices in shop is going to be USD, or are they going to be adjusted based on your country? I think they're gonna adjust it based on your country. Time is better to assure the pet because it's stronger than the player. Early game, yeah, early game is pets versus player, man. It's like early game is basically what would happen if Pokemon in Pokemon games were able to attack the trainers. Does the dungeon show the who deals the most damage at the end like rocks? It used to. It used to. I don't know why they removed it, but it doesn't show it anymore. I don't know why. You used to say like who took the most damage, who like best tank, best DPS, last hit, best healing, best supporting, all that. But they removed it. I don't know why. Does ROO have event MVP? Yeah, they do. They do have those. We've had those quite a bit in NA. What's the best build for early merch blacksmith cart revo? Full strength. No, fuck the Agi. Go full strength. Don't even think about putting agility in there. I'm like, what's up, Hans? What's up, Shua? Confirm April 6th. I mean, it's either April 6th or some people, there's a rumor mill going around that like the game itself is gonna launch on March 30th. I'm not sure how true that is. Might just be a rumor, but at this point, I'm just waiting on an official announcement from the devs. Because you love Wendy's, not smack yuck. Can't fucking stand this one. I know it's coming every day. That's what she said. The lowest investment attack speed class, crit next LK ADL sniper. Lowest investment attack speed class that will still have some type of effectiveness is ADL sniper. ADL sniper for sure. What's up, John? There's a John Carlo. What's going on, bro? I don't think they confirmed it yet, but there are a few events that has announced the date. The event is 6th of April. Yeah, but they might not just like not have events for like day one or week one or something. I don't know. We never know. We'll find out. Do you put points in free cast? I mean, for like for Sage. Being able to reposition is just it's just really good. I hope they bring back leaderboards for global. Yeah, hopefully. Did you do the math for maxing out the important stuff in the Neon shop? How much was it again? 13,900. That's where I knew I play better than Whale Palace. I think they bring it back. They still have it for War of Imperium, BBC. So yeah, I'll see you up in there. Because I usually saw you up there in the rankings. I saw you performing in the stats that mattered. Is feather more important than refinement? They're the same. Here's the thing. It's like feathers, you treat them as equipment. And they are the only they get expensive, but they are the only equipment that has a guaranteed raise in stats. Whereas like refine, they are higher value per increase, yes, and they are lower cost per attempt, but they have a chance to fail. So there's no one size fits all answer for that question, unfortunately. I see all event stars 4-6 in their main site. Yeah. I'm gonna make the strongest AIL sniper. You sure? That's not a bad idea, actually, Linky. Why would you read the? Why did they release a game on Thursday and not Monday or Friday? Yeah, beats me, bro. They on a Thursday on the 6th in Holy Week. A lot of Filipinos are gonna be screwed. So yeah, it doesn't make much sense there. No, 13,900 per week. Oh yeah, it's per week. Which emulator are you using? Right now, I'm using LD Player. 13.9k neon berries, yep. So I can spend that much on day 1 OBT. Do I max out the Neon Shop or get a Tier 0 Donnell or Earth Lord? I mean, you don't have a choice. You're gonna have to put the Donnell and the Earth Lord in your wishing anyway, because you need to have 2 in there. So it's whichever one you get, really. Yeah. But you have to I mean, you play Dota, right? So I mean, targeting is not an issue for you. You just have to have like good target selection. Like if you're able to hunt down their whales with your CC cards on your weapon, it's over for them, man. It is over for them. What whale normally spend in this game? Fine mats, costumes, or others? How will the big difference for the low spender? There's like 3 types of whales, right? Whales that spend casually, dumb whales, and smart whales. The scariest ones are the smart whales because they will actually, bro. I've had people who, especially the past few days, they're actually whales that have approached me and have paid me. They paid me I know one guy paid me like one guy paid me like $100 just to look at his account and tell me, and look at his budget and then tell him what to spend money on, because he's heard the nightmares of people spending like 90k and being irrelevant still because they fucked up how they spent. So yeah. And there was another guy who like offered, is like, yeah, just because it's like just because like they wanted support and all that, offered to pay 500 bucks just for me to like review you know, at certain power spike points, like what he should invest on, what he should spend money on. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just care about like where their money goes to, because you know, a guy that spent 10k smartly will beat a guy that spent 50k and was done with it. $100 for an advice? I think it's a bit low. Well, I mean, it's like think of it as like an introductory price, right? It's like the first ones that decide to invest early will get the cheapest rates, obviously, and you know, because like honestly, all I have to show for at the moment to prove to them that I know what I'm talking about is my videos, my explanation, my rationale behind it, and my knowledge, right? But like once I get more established and more bigger whales want to, you know, I guess like spend, because my brand is like Little Fatty or like Dynasty is up there, then that's when I can charge more. But in the meantime, it's just building reputation. Tell me what to spend money on, Fatty. What's your budget, Shua? Fuck the Sharpshoot meta. I'll one hit them with Falcon damage. I don't think you can do that, but you can damage them. I think he's talking about Shua. It's actually not Shua. If Ranger Job gonna release first, we go Sniper also then. It'll depend on how good it is. We'll see. No. Viewer account review in the future? Yeah, we could you could do that actually. That'll be content. But yeah, let me finish all the guides first, and then let me get through the initial day 1 week 1 wave of OBT, and then we can start doing that defeat. Yeah. Here's I'll check your right video there. I got you. Thanks, Given. Should I buy Feather every monthly spending is only about $150 to $300? Yes, but you're not gonna try to buy it all up. You just want to get to a point where you have the good feathers as part of your 4 yellow 1 purple combo, and then there's a lot of things that you can do in game to reinforce that even further. 500 a week. I mean, you definitely can max out on feathers and discount boxes then, for sure. And then we'll have to see what your refining luck is at that point, and then I have to do it in a case-by-case basis, because if I'm gonna give you advice on what to spend, I have to look at it at a case-by-case basis. I can't just be like, hey, here's a general answer, because you have those, but like for the people that are really wanting to min-max and make sure that like every nyan spent is like the best that they could have spent it on, then that's where that kicks in. Can you show your keybinds? Oh, my keybinds are right there. You can see them. You got your Q, you got your E, R. But they're gonna be different in global, because I can actually assign them as part of the settings. Feather or title first? Feather for sure. Title you can slowly creep up by doing PvP events, and then once you see like other ways trying to pull ahead because of auctions, then that's when you start investing into titles, but don't invest in them too much. Just invest enough so that they don't deal too much damage towards you, and then that'll negate their advantage when it comes to that. So yeah. John H, thank you for the sub to the YouTube channel, man. Appreciate you, brother. Oh, play class that get the most riz no matter what class. Champion probably, Chuck. Asura somebody and just walk away like a G. Just like wink at the next girl you see. Easy. Damn, like above medium monthly salary for me. As you'll have a powerful member. Easy clap is River Strike. I think Champ will probably release in May. Honestly. I know the Paladin is winning in that poll, but the way that like class releases happen in ROO is it's all very episodic. So it's attached to like certain episodes or updates. And Paladin doesn't really, I think Paladin doesn't get released until like the Glass Time update. So we'll see. We'll see if they try to adjust it. Oh yeah, the editing, yes, correct. Let's see here. Feather. Yes, the feather guide. The feather guide. Oh shit. What is the fairest rule for guild auction? Is there any way to know who won the bid? The fairest rule for guild auction is for people to actually be organized and have, assign who gets what. How much more DPS does Firelord do in comparison to Antasha in percentage? I think Firelord's like 4.8k. Antasha's like 3k, but it has lifesteal. Let's see. Just note that like scaling is different in NA than it is in global. So don't take this with a grain of salt. Actually, no, there's no point in comparing. It's not even gonna be close. But let's do it anyway. So, go. Takes healing 1040% fire magic damage, and has the passive. It looks like it's less than global, but the thing about like NA is that what makes pets like OP is the skills. So if you have invested in all skills, specific skills, not the built-in force ones that you have in global, but that's what makes it really expensive, but also really OP. Rizura strike. It's like you wanted to flirt with her, but then she died. What champ best stat? Agility, strength, haste build, or in strength? You want to go in strength first, Rizura. Unless you're going combo, then yeah, by all means go agility. He's gonna be playing paladin. He's gonna be an unkillable paladin. Alright. Let me silence the game for now. If anybody has any questions, we'll pull that up here. But in the meantime, you already have it. I think you already have it, right? If Fatty finds me a e-girl to take the pay on, and yeah, I'll be paladin. Yeah, I'll find you a girl. Can you show your stats allocation? I'm planning to play wizard. Priest is boring. Here you go, Miggy. This video will probably be better for you, because I'm not a wizard at the moment in NA. But check this video out if you want like the perfect stats for your caster, especially if you're a wizard, because I did that on a wizard. That should help you maintain the perfect balance when it comes to your intelligence and your dexterity. Also, most efficient way for free-to-play players to do monster research. Get into a party of 5. Because other people's kills counts towards your monster research too. Can you build Natasha do the same amount of DPS compared to Firelord with the same amount of money and investments? I think with Firelord has a lot of burst. I think Natasha has burst as well, but has better sustained DPS plus sustainability when it comes to lifesteal. Tier 10 Natasha, as far as I remember, has lifesteal, so it can actually like, if it's strong enough, it can actually solo some MVPs. Actually, sure, you might be able to survive Asura, because one of the major changes they made probably after you quit NA was they made it so HP in PvP settings are multiplied in PvP, so you're gonna be a lot more tanky than you are used to. Well, how do I still kill Caslius on Sage Memory? I'm stuck, I can't attack him. Oh, you're bugged. You're probably bugged out. I hate to say it, but you're gonna have to redo the whole thing. No. But yeah, I mean, oh shoot. Yeah, I mean that dynasty and Crescent are family, so if they need our help, we will come running. You have my bow and my axe. Like that scene in Lord of the Rings. Gondor calls for help. You also do PvP shoutcasting? I have done PvP shoutcasting before. So if that becomes a thing, I probably will do it that too. Hmm. Should I do research level 3 for a monster and move on to the next? Yeah, you can do that. That's an efficient way of doing it, Mispa. Because like for example, right, for a whole row, let's say like you just want to do like this for example, or this, or these guys. You just want to level 3, level 3, level 3, level 3, level 3, and then you get the level 3 bonus here, which is like 300, 500, 800, pretty huge. And you do that a lot faster than if you were to go beyond level 3, because beyond level 3 you'll need to kill 15,000 already. You know. What you can do is you can even try just like level 1 on the everything, or level 2 and everything. If you really want to get up there like quick, yeah, I would probably do is I'll kill level 1 of everything and just like bump myself up in like points. I don't even care too much about the ranking. I just care about like maximizing the amount of MR that I'll get. That way I can, get the most MR stats that I possibly can at any point in time. Like double to level 40? Yeah, we probably can, Chua. I think we can. You can give it a shot. We'll probably die on the way there. To like level 70, level 80 mobs, but we could try. Maybe have like a bow in the back, a sword like sheath on your waist, and you're carrying an axe. That's mostly increasing OBT for XP and MR. Yeah. It's always good to have a full MR party. What you usually do is like you have an open party and then you invite anybody in your guild to join it. And they can just like auto apply even after you go AFK. The danger for that though is like if you're AFK, somebody can claim party leader and pull you into the city and ruin your MR. So it's better to do it with guildmates or people you know. Gloria. That could have been a DM. But I am praying for your vaginal rejuvenation. Hopefully the juice flows within you. Yeah. Just re-revive. Only thing is you can only get a cap. There's a cap that you can do. It's not unlimited per map. So what you have to do is you have to go back to a save point outside of the map and then go back into the map again, and that refreshes again. So if you die too often, then you're gonna have to wait for like a res. Those revives, you only use them towards the end when the boss gets into its like rage mode, AoE. Then it's doable. Pre-revive carries all the way there. How to get blueprint fragments? Triple H skate. Helheim Heart. When you go into event, start doing these Helheim Disturbance. This is where you get all your fragments. Yeah. God, it's gonna be so awkward listening to my own voice on stream, man. I fucking. Anybody else here like that don't like their voice when you hear it? That was me. Can't stand this motherfucker's voice. How many GRV you guys are going on the same server as Panda? If possible, yeah. That's what we want. Like, I mean, me, like Dynasty, Panda. The reason why we're going global is because we want competition. So we want to go into like the servers with like the big guilds like Mana, Alta 4, Rug Pull, all of them. We want to go into those servers. Problem is, if we even have that luxury, because these servers might fill up like quick, and if our members get left behind, it's gonna be a big problem. So the other option is going into a different server that's like, you know, still kind of competitive but not as crazy, and then just fight the other big guilds in like cross server 40v40 and cross server dimension battles. That's like the contingency plan. But we won't know until we receive a server list. I like sounding like a bath boy. Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. Unless like you know how to sing. And even then it's not like your usual talking voice when you're singing, that you have to alter it a certain way. That's when you can appreciate your voice. But I'm not a singer, so, you know. What is the best build option for a tank paladin? Devotion. Devotion for sure. Go full bit. They're very high, they're like a very high chance for our members not being able to enter a server, since not everyone will have an error-free client. That's what I'm scared about. That's what I'm scared about. It feels like almost April. Yeah, I know, right? It's a bit of an issue here. Hold on, did I turn off? Here we go. Are you interviewing a sniper main today? Is that today? Oh yeah, we already did it, Fran. Earlier. I'll upload that video tomorrow. Yeah. You have a video for Helheim hard mechanics for us that didn't experience the CBT. That's the problem, Zen, is that Helheim rotates between dungeons. And the later the game goes, the more dungeons come out. So if I have to do like a mechanic one, a Helheim video, I'll have to do one for every single one. So I'll do that once it opens up CBT. It's pretty straightforward mechanics too in the early ones. Later on it gets a little bit more complicated. Some of them might be buggy. It was buggy in NA, but we'll see in global. I did suggest the mod that we should have one chance to change server or something similar, so that the guild can gather together in server. Yeah, exactly. That should be. But you know, that's something that New World had to do. All right, let's see. Ugh. Hey guys, and welcome to the Feather Guide. Let's go straight into it because you came here for the guide and not for my voice. So, what is the Feather system? The easiest way to understand.